You're listening in to 3D Radio 93.7 FM. Last time we checked the frequency, and as we do every Wednesday, our favourite night of the week, my favourite night of the week, live from Studio 3 every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. We have the honour and the privilege of having joining us tonight the St. Morris Sinners.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing an entire hour of some music, some chats, and as I like to do, let's let the band introduce themselves by jumping into a song before we find out a little more about them. You're listening to Live from Studio 3. Here are the St. Morris Sinners.
Without a doubt, my boots are going a year. Suit is albino salamander, and there's a tattoo down there of a petrified jacaranda. Oh yeah, my one back calf. There's a funny story behind that. Just park yourself up, babe, and watch my baked beans go. Clickety clack. A big red calf, I'll deliver the way you live. It's in the back of my truck. Oh man, you in that love. You in that love, Well, I'm feeling generous. If you give me a smack, it's free of charge. All you gotta do is blow my stack. Oh, that's my girl Felicity. She's a dingo cross. It used to be treated badly, and there she goes. Oh my gosh! Oh! Like a mule. Well, don't you love the twinkling lights when you drive into towns? It's all the visuals that I get after hunting this shit down. Give me a call, yeah, but never text no. Just tell me what you want and I'll get something for your job, baby. A big red calf, I'll deliver the way you live. It's in the back of my truck. Oh man, you ain't out of love. You may not love me! Ow!
Super live. We've got a crowd in tonight at the radio station. You don't always get that. It's so good to have the St. Morris Sinners in. We have Steve on vocals. Hey, Steve.
How you going?
We got Django over there on the guitar.
How you doing? What's going on?
We got Moolie. She doesn't have a microphone, but hey.
What's up?
Yeah, you can hear him there. We got Angus on the drums as well. And together they make up the St. Morris Sinners. You guys are sounding dangerous tonight. You feeling dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, like it's been a bit of fun. we came a bit late tonight, thanks to me. That's my fault. I maybe was taking a whiz when the organising was being done and came back.
You
But
whizzed in your own eyes when you read that message, potentially.
I did. I totally did.
Anyway, we've already derailed this. It's very exciting to have you guys here in the studio playing. We're going to be doing an hour of music, and it's a word that it's Itas Belonche. I know it's close.
Itas Belonche?
Itas Belonche.
Yeah.
I had Django on a few months ago, and I think I got it wrong about 6 or 7 times.
I think I got it wrong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the curse. I mean, the last album decided to not put the name of the band or the name of the album on the cover. So we thought we got to test ourselves and do it again, making it impossibly a word that you can't pronounce. You know, and just
What?
keep that flow going with just the anonymity of the band and everything.
What
Yeah.
what inspired you to kind of leave some of the band's name and stuff off the signage of the record?
Well, I just like some of those albums where like there is a lot of kind of albums where you see just artwork and you don't really know what it is, and you sort of just it can be a bit eye capturing in its own sense.
Almost kind of like a bit of a record finder energy, you know?
Yeah, a
Like
lot of
kind
those
like
old
the type
60s
people looking through,
recordings
picking
seem
up
to have
random
that
stuff.
kind of vibe, I feel.
Okay.
That's sort of just, there's no name on the album, like especially some of that more obscure sort of German stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Shout out to Germany.
Yeah. It's like-
We have Sam Morrison is in the house, and we're going to be doing some chats along the way. You're going to be playing some new tracks from the record, and we're also going to be we're chucking a bit of promo. You guys, of course, have a gig coming up on the weekend at the Grace Emily.
Yep. So we haven't played there for a while, and it's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be like a 2-setter, which we haven't really done. The closest we've ever done to that is played a matinee performance and then another performance on a night at the Cranker one night, which is real fun. And playing with these two bands, played with Kid Congo and Tex. That was pretty cool.
Very cool.
But this time around, I've
Wait,
made
Tex, as in Tex Perkins? Or?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That was a fun time. But those sets were kind of like similar, so it's kind of like we changed 1 or 2 songs. But I feel like throwing myself in the deep end, especially lyrically, we're putting 14 songs up. So hopefully it works, and
All right.
I remember it.
I guess
So yeah.
the people listening in will be able to gauge it a little bit. They'll be sitting in there with their dialing and listening ears.
Absolutely, and also the Grace is just a great place to go. It's got a good vibe, and we've played over the years there since we probably started the band like 10 years ago. It's definitely been one of the first places we ever played. And shout out to Simo. I'm sure he's not listening, but love you, Simo.
All right, so we're going to jump into a new song. What have you guys got coming up next?
This song is called Le Coq Rock Bleu.
Very cool. You're listening to 3D Radio.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Slippery Steve, and this is the Slippery Half Hour. And I got a special band here for you tonight, and they've come down from a town called Adelaide, and they're going to be playing this song that they call Cock Rock Blues. I hope you enjoy. Let's do it. When you feel sad and the time enough for. In the 1970s, it was at its prime, but now most of them are dead or doing time. All right. Don't you was a magician with that mic stand, but it fell short Radiohead released Creep. As the 2000s approached, U2 began to hit its peak. Oh yes, they did. They really did. Oh yes, they did. Yeah. La 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 la. And then shone down from the heavens a new era of Me Too. And thus ended the cock rock, and the cock rock. Thank you very much. So, we're going to move it right along. This is an older song. It's from our 2014 album called For Lease. And this song is called, or it's entitled End Song. Yeah, I mean, lyrically, I wrote the lyrics to this song when I was listening to lots of Dirty Three, but it doesn't sound anything like the Dirty Three. And its gruesome line was contemplating and slowly committing the crime. Yeah, and the jury, clap black and you, they have decided to see it all through. Salute the smoke spray, so fair and cruel. Defeat crashed suddenly. It was Hasmo Man upon my. Wow! Yeah! Woo! Salute the smoke spray, so fair and cruel. Defeat crashed suddenly. It was Hasmo Man upon my.
Seven FM. We have the St. Morris Sinners. St. Morris Sinners in the house playing all music. Big shout out to Cactus on the sound over there, holding things down. We've got a whole crew of
Sounding
sound
great.
people. I'm not sure everyone who's doing well. We've got a big team of people in here listening to the Sinners come in, and we've loaded you up on as much peppermint tea as we could fit in a pot.
Yeah, it just mellowed me out a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah.
You know? I'm feeling the space, the lights. Whoever did the lights, they're nice.
Yep, yeah, we do. For the people listening in, have a bunch
Who
of
did the
fairy
lights? What was his name?
Big shout out to Albert.
All right, thanks,
Hold it
Albert.
down. I don't know if he just switched them on or if there was some arrangement happening, but it's a good room that you can see, but not hear. You can hear us, and we want to find out a little bit more about what's what's in the pipeline for the Sinners. You've got a relatively new member joining the band, Emilish.
Yep, Milush. He's been playing. We played at Space Jams recently, and yeah, it was real fun. Went down to Robe. That was a really fun show. Yeah, I mean, coming up, I have written a concept album. I have another one. I've got all the lyrics ready, so we need to start at some point. We'll start writing some stuff for that. Aside from that, yeah, I mean, we're gonna maybe go down to or up to Europe next year, which would be really fun. And yeah, hopefully we can play some more shows around Australia. In the foreseeable future, to the end of the year.
Do you find the concept album is something that kind of helps you to collect your thoughts when it comes to writing? Like if you have a bit of a framework to start with, other than just writing about every single thing that could be coming into your brain.
Yeah,
you find
absolutely.
it's something that helps steal,
It steers the ship.
Yeah.
Because if you have an overarching theme, you can kind of play with that a bit more. And I do have a lot of respect for lyricists who can. I mean, I'm sure everything's got a concept to it, mostly, when it comes to bands writing an album. But like, I do have a lot of respect for lyricists who can just go on crazy tangents and do, maybe it's not necessarily linear. But yeah, no, I found that really meditative, and it's helped me to kind of get my thoughts out in lots of ways. Yeah.
Cool. When you're putting out your albums, do you tend to structure them in an order that is decided after you make it, or is it often that you'll write songs and then they will appear like in a kind of linear fashion from when they were written?
Well, for instance, like this new stuff I've been writing, a lot of it comes from actually just like it happens for a lot of people, maybe listening to music, watching things, or reading. But the ideas that came from this stuff that I have been writing recently, I've just been really enjoying a lot of Danny Elfman's compositions. Okay. I don't know if that vibe or flavor will come into the music, but it gave me this idea because I realized when we wrote Itos Balanche, there's only one character-based song on the album, and that's Big Rev Kev. And a lot of the old albums and recordings had lots of character-based songs, and a lot of them were actually about fictional people that lived in the town of St. Maurice. So I thought, why not go completely ham this time and go back to a concept where it's these old folk tales of it's kind of like creepy Tim Burton-esque, maybe meets Primus, kind of like Halloween-y thing where I love the concept of just having like the 7 deadly sins, and so all the songs are kind of that I wrote. So yeah, there was a theme, and it really helped. And then I thought of all the 7 deadly sins and how you could replicate that in these horror stories that are old folklore tales. So
very cool. I wouldn't have picked the Danny Elfman thing, but I mean, I guess you guys did have some strings on the last album, and you did the show where you had all the talented people, which you should give a quick shout out to. I forgot who it was that was playing on the strings on the album.
That was Rachel Johnston, and she's amazing. She came in, and when she came to the studio, she listened to Organ Grinder, I think once, and it's a very free kind of flowing song, and she just walked into the booth and just did something that was, I think, amazing. Like, in honesty, we're sitting there listening to just her isolated. Some of the favorite parts of mixing the album was actually listening to her stuff just isolated. It sounds so beautiful. And we had 2 organ players come. Brenton Foster did stuff on Big Rev Kev. He did this chunky, sorry about that burp, funky, kind of like organ. And then Jack Strempel played on Elephant in the Gloom. And then and then got the horn section. And the horn section came in, and it was
Adam
Page, Gio,
and Luke White.
That's it. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. And just having Adam Page in a room was always a fantastic experience.
That man can do anything. He can do anything.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him doing the 24-hour performance thing he did at the lab, and he can do anything.
The man has so much energy, and also so much positive energy and honesty. He's a very bombastic, happy, easygoing, lovely guy. So yeah, it was a really nice environment to be at Wizard Tone Studios, which is a great studio. If any band's thinking of recording stuff there, have great people on the decks there, and yeah. And Tom Barnes did the recording, so thank you, Tom Barnes. But he's not part of Wizardtone, but he was there.
Shout out the gang. I'm looking forward to the Danny Elfman-inspired St. Morris music in the future. Guess you're going to probably need like another 20 members of the band, right? Get the full orchestra happening.
Yeah, well,
Oh, I have no idea. I think we're going to go very industrial with
Yeah.
it, I reckon.
Okay. Cool.
there's going to definitely like industrial aspects to it, which would be really cool, I think. And sort
Lots of percussion, I imagine.
Most excellent. You're listening to the St. Morris Sinners. Let's hear some more of that sweet live music you guys been throwing down tonight. This is live from Studio 3.
This is a song called Hats Off, and it's one of the first songs that we ever wrote.
Well, I was just a poor boy from a poor family. My mother didn't have a job, and my father didn't have a dime. But that's alright with me, baby. Everything was fine. Well, my father worked downtown, and my mother cooked and cleaned. And I went to school, everybody glared at you with them judging eyes. I was a poor boy, and for that they were pretty mean. Oh, hats off to you, my lord. Your house is nicer than mine. But even though that is the case, you still make us squeeze out our fucking down. Down. Down, down, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there seemed to be no hope. My room was a fucking joke. The only thing we taught to look forward to happened every Sunday morn. Well, the town preacher droned on about an imaginary man. Did we really believe this? Did we really believe all the lies? Did we believe all the cries wailing for the audience? All I could do is get down on my hands and knees and fucking cry! Yeah, man! I wanna cry, cry, cry! Oh! Hats off to you, my lord! Your house is nicer than mine. But even though that is the case, you still make us squeeze out a fucking down. A down. Woo! A down, down, yeah! Oh, preach you teach of acceptance, a religious world that is divine. Why don't you look in your own neighborhood? All the poverty and crime. Oh, sinners, have we really sinned? Should we give in to all these lies one more time? If I do, I'm gonna have to get down and get down on my hands and knees and fucking wow, wow, yeah! I'm on a cloud, yeah. Ow, hats out to you, my lord. Your house is nicer than mine. Hey, but even though it is the case, you still make us squeeze out of fucking down, down, yeah, down, down, woo, yeah, woo, woo. Take it down low. Whoa, whoa. I'll take it down slow. Ow! Wow! Yeah! Get your hats out, baby! Get your jocks out too, man! Hats off to you, my lord. Yeah.
Thank you. This next song is one from Songs by Insects, and it's called Frogman. And it's a three-parter. going back to what I was talking about before, it's got a bit of a vibe of just kind of like a little sort of tale. But yeah. I went out the other day looking for food with a couple of mates. We were down in Walter's swamp. Warily we kept our eyes out for snakes. Frederick buzzed to the right. Alan decided to scour the left. I continued on, straight ahead. I began to think of a story I heard when I was only a maggot. I would cocoon myself in my blanket every time my mother told it. The tale of a creature that prowled the very mangrove where I lived. A creature that was slimy, gluttonous, and really big. It devoured snakes for fun, cut up and harvested their meat. It stole Walter's fly swat, which was proudly presented on its mantelpiece. With bulging eyes, like two blood moons, it carried a sack of us flies, a snack on which it would always chew. I thought it was an old scarab's tale, an anecdote to shut us up to sleep. But as I flew further north, I felt something beneath me. A cloud submerged the moon, and it got really dark. And as that cloud passed by, I noticed something in its light. Motionless and dead were my rigor mortis encased friends, noticing on the branch where their bodies lay something really strange. The branch where it was all peculiar with growths and lumps, kinda like when I borrowed into Walter's daughter Sue and they thought she had a bad case of the mumps. I thought they were fooling, playing some kind of a cruel joke, when suddenly I heard a loud bellowing crow.
You're listening to 3D Radio 93.7 FM. I was just checking in to make sure I wasn't going to bust in for another chapter. That's brought out beautifully. It was sounding really good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, let's hit
My
Django.
guitar was super out of tune that whole time, so I was trying to play around it. But
See, I was just sitting here thinking how nice those bends were sounding.
Oh, thanks,
So
yeah.
maybe my ears are bad, but I thought it sounded pretty good.
Bill Frisell once said, "You can never get a guitar in tune." So that's why he does that weird. I don't know if anyone who's listening is a Bill Frisell fan, but he has this sound that was once described as squeezing music out of a toothpaste tube.
Ooh, I like that.
That's
Yeah.
And so he was a famous guitarist or singer as well?
he's a
or-
famous jazz guitarist, but he has this way of bending almost every note as he's playing, in a way,
Yeah.
chorusing it. Yeah.
There's a big jazz background in the St. Maurice Sinners, at least with
There is.
multiple of you. I know you've got a bit of a jazz guitar and Angus as well on the drums.
Yeah.
Milush
And
as
Milush.
well. I'm guessing you got a bit of jazz in you.
We all went to uni together.
Okay, maybe look what we could.
I had a bit of jazz before the show.
Hey, look, it's probably going to be popular with the people listening to 3D. Big shout outs to all of you listening in here. We do have the St. Maurice Sinners in, and I was just going to see if I could take this mic for a little bit of a wander so we can hear some of the members of the band. Milush, what's your background in jazz? How long have you been playing the bass for?
Oh, I did double bass at uni with Angus. When was that, dude? 2013? 2013. Shit, that's ages ago.
Would I be right in guessing and assuming that it could be like a bit of a conservatorium type scenario?
Yep.
Cool. We got good proficiency in the house. I'm just going to wander over a little bit so we can say hey to Angus as well. We're moving around the world, and we've only got mics on Steve and Django, so hey, Angus.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well tonight.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. So we're sitting here behind Angus's drum setup as well, and you've put out like some solo music as well. Have you still been working on that stuff alongside doing the St. Maurice Sinners?
Yeah, absolutely. Still got another record coming out, hopefully very soon, under my own name. Yeah, still doing lots of different drumming stuff, but the Sinners is always my home, so it's nice to come back and play with these guys all the time.
Very cool. We do love the St. Maurice Sinners, and we have them here playing live from Studio 3. We got about 3 more songs, maybe 4 coming up for you before Raw Like Sushi comes in and takes over as well. What have we got coming up in terms of the next track? Do you want to give us a bit of an insight into the song as well?
Yeah, well, I always thought, for me personally, and I'm sure these guys dig them, like the Velvet Underground. And this is a song called Run, Run, Run from their first official album. And I've always had a close affinity to, as I've told you in the past, like Lou Reed's lyrics, and I'd say he'd be up there as one of my favorite lyricists of all time.
Yeah,
probably.
incredible.
We played it at Robe, and it was really fun. And Chris, this is not fun, but Chris Bailey had passed away from the Saints, and I thought it was like a nice little way to kind of maybe pay an ode to Australian rock legend by playing a Velvet Underground song, which I remember Brian Eno said...
Sorry, what's the connection? I might be missing something, but the Saints and then the Velvet, is there a through line?
I think the connection would be that back in the 70s with Australian rock bands, I think, and I don't know, I can't speak for Chris Bailey, but I think that the Velvet Underground had a huge impact on a lot of bands. Brian Eno once said there was only 20,000 records sold from the Velvet Underground Nico, but
Everyone started a band.
Everyone started a band.
Yep.
I just thought that who Chris Bailey is and was as a frontman and a musician, like seeing some of that listening to some of that early Saint stuff recently as well. It's got a bit of that dirty grunt, like that dirty kind of visceral vibe that bands like the Stooges and the MC5 and the Velvet Underground all had. And I'm sure that in some ways, like we were talking about jazz as well, like people like Pharoah Sanders and stuff, and Albert Ayler, they were a huge influence on a lot of those Detroit rockers. But basically, I just thought it'd be a nice ode to play something like from a band that he could potentially have loved. I don't know.
I like it. Thank you for clarifying that. I was just curious.
And it's always a lot of fun to play a song. And I was listening to Kurt Weill's music recently, and I heard a bit of his rendition of it, and I thought that it was like a good wed to kind of like think about it in different light, and yeah, it's really cool. So it's a lot of fun playing the song.
Very cool.
Basically, the short story.
No, we're looking forward to hearing it. Samara Sinners covering Run, Run, Run by the Velvet Underground on 3D Radio.
Teenage Mary, said Uncle Dave, I sold
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Stephen. So we're going to move it now to a different vibe. This is the second half of the newest album, and this is called Diane. It's a bit of a different flavour, but really like this song, and it was really special to be able to write this song for my mother, and my nan's 91 now, who's my mother's mother, and it was a really nice thing to be able to share that with her while she's still around. You know that thought, it takes whole bereft of feeling as it takes its toll. I was only a boy, fragile and alone, just shy of 3. I waited for her to come home. She lay on a bed, I ran to her side, and we embraced. No concept of time. And that room was cold, shivering, lying there, no horror of this world. No, nothing could compare. Then you were gone. We heard it on the phone. My father held me and cried. I thought you were coming home. When things don't seem right, I still think of you in the dead of night. Diane, Diane, that was her name. She had hair like mine. When the stars align and I'm buried in my grave, silent at night. Diane, 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 whoa. Diane, 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 Diane.
You're listening to 3D Radio. Sorry, 3D Radio. We have St. Morris Sinners in. That's a beautiful track. I really like that one.
Thanks. I might have busted my voice of that last song, but no, it's always fun playing that one. It's always special to have bandmates, playing these guys for 10 years, so it's really nice to be able to write, personal things and be able to put that out there and have people that support you and, want to share the love.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing, for sure.
Yeah, and these guys have always done a really good, beautiful job on songs like that. Yeah.
Is that the type of song that when you first started the band, it would have been difficult to bring, to everyone and be like, I've written this very deeply personal song? Is that something that you've kind of seen grow more and more, or?
Yeah, it's all like to do with it has a lot of factors to it because like when you're younger, a lot of the stuff that I was writing was you're a bit angsty and you're just young and you want to go out and play gigs at dirty bars. So
Yeah.
a lot of the time you just sort of, and also it depends on what the music you're listening to. And when I was younger, I was definitely listening to just a lot of like really raucous, punk rock stuff basically, and psychedelic stuff even at points.
Yep.
And as I grew older, though, I found people like Lou Reed and Tom Waits and Patti Smith and Jonathan Richman, and I found all these songwriters who had so much, and Dave McComb from the Triffids and stuff, and I found all these songwriters that had so much merit and realized the power of words in a lot of ways through punk music, because punk music's a big, broad spectrum.
Yep.
So a lot of people, it's like saying, rock as well. There's so much so much interplay in rock and so many influences and genres. And these guys that and gals that I listen to, I just found their poetry so beautiful, along with lots of writers I was reading as I grew up and grew older. And men find it, I think some men tend to find it hard to express emotions, especially in Australia.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to have to be brought up in an all-male family. Not saying that they're emotional. They're beautiful people, but it was just nice to find art and find, like an outlet, and kind of when you're feeling all trapped and cornered and sad, and you don't really know how to convey what you feel, especially when you're a young man. I was a bloody idiot when I was young, but I still am. So yeah.
Yeah, growing though. How about you, Django? It is an interesting process, kind of looking back, and you guys have been together in a band for such a long time. What's your experience like when you reflect back on the early days of the band, and kind of where you were at, or the type of things that you take away from reflecting on earlier in the band's career and just your life generally?
I think we've definitely developed as songwriters more than anything. And I think musically, I can hear it when I listen back to the early stuff. I feel like we were very angsty, and I look back on that time and it's sort of a blur as to. I felt like my brain was not fully developed or something. So I don't know.
I think there's some science behind that, I believe, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of, I felt like I played gigs and we just got up there and rocked out, and that was all that sort of mattered or something. But now I feel like one thing, I feel like I take the songwriting, like the music behind it, a lot more seriously, and really try to think as deep about it as we can. With a song like that, we wanted to make it special, and we had our friend Nick Pennington, who played bass on the record, write a horn arrangement, and it's weird playing the song without those horns. I don't know if you find that, Steve.
Yeah, I definitely find, especially there's a few songs, there's that song and Gentrification, there's that end part where it gets really loud and there's these stabs the horns are doing, which kind of drive what's happening more. And you kind of, when we play live, it's fun to still do it and just jam it out and try to find the right groove. But I do go I feel like there's cues, and this album actually is one thing I've always thought. This album that we just released is a bit more polished and has cues in it, and has a bit more kind of development, I guess, in how the songs are there. While the old stuff's very jammy.
Yeah, very jammy.
You can kind of just wing it and be like, I forgot my words. No one can hear what you're saying anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the gigs that we used to do back in the day were a lot more raucous or something, and now. I don't know, it seems to be more of a listening crowd or something, which is really kind of weird,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we got you to 3D.
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting at home. Maybe they're having a peppermint tea as well.
Probably.
Just blissing out.
Yeah.
But no, it is sounding good. I feel like it would even, in a technical sense, does it make it easier to plan gigs? Say if you've got someone doing lighting, or if you're talking about cues that you have within the music, does it make it easier to plan your set around the music with the people that you work with around you, even in a technical sense?
I think for when we did the album launch, for instance, I think we really planned out the set just literally for efficiency, as far as because we had all the extra members playing with us, the horns and the organ and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we planned the set around that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is interesting when you start in pub shows and you have like there's always the sound guy at pub shows, and they all for some reason look exactly the same. But yeah, they're always pretty like loose and loosey goosey and kind of fun, and sort of they'll just be out smoking something, come back, and then they'll be let's go turn that up. There's a bit of feedback, but like any sort of like it's like the music that we wrote back then. It's all very like sort of kind of on a whim, kind of very loose, and sort of your improvisational. You're there in the moment. Well, when you play somewhere like Nexus and you've been together for 10 years and you're doing stuff, you play these shows where there's like, there could be a lighting guy or there could be a sound guy, and they want to make it a show, and you've got a green room. We're like, ooh, a green room. That's good.
Yeah.
Like it's nice. It's interesting. It's more, it definitely feels like more theatrical.
Yeah,
in some
I mean,
aspects. Like,
weirdly, when we did this, when we were going to do the album launch, we were kind of thinking about doing it in a theatre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was I was throwing the idea of Django being like go to Gould Institute, and I'd be happy to have people sort of like sitting there and just taking it in, because it seems like they're the listening audience, like the debutantes of Adelaide come to our shows these days. But it's really good to be able to do that, to be able to change your flavour and your vibe, and to be able to keep recreating things, is what I've said a lot of the times over the years, and it's what all my favourite musicians, I'm sure all these people's favourite musicians have done.
sure. Yeah.
Challenge yourself. I mean, art's all about just challenging yourself. Don't pull yourself into one little tiny category. There's a big world out there.
Yeah.
And we definitely learned that when we went to France. It's a big world.
Absolutely.
Adelaide is very small, but I love Adelaide, but it is very small. And the city king, as Paul Kelly said in his song entitled Adelaide, it's all the king's horse and all king's men could never drag me back to Adelaide again. But I saw him the other day actually walking down Ron Street. But but that's but like so it's kind of an interesting thing. But yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Wonderful. And see the gigs sound good as well, because people have been your fans for 10 years. The creaks and wait, that's not the word. creaks and aches and crates, they start creeping in as well. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'd go to a seated St. Maurice show.
Exactly. We need to get the walking frames into the audience to get some of them out. After they had too many ports. But no, it's and I actually realised I'm getting bloody old. Like 30's not that old really, but like I did realise after that show I bunged my knee. I bunged my knee walking to drop off some rubbish in the backyard. Like
Yeah, I pulled my back out loading the gear out.
I pulled my back out blowing out a cupcake.
All right, but before we do this for too much longer and everyone else falls asleep, we're going to have to bring it in. We got 4 minutes left. It's been so good having you guys coming in. It's a treat. We've wanted to have you come in for a while, and it's been good to have you bring in the live sounds. Big shouts out to you guys for all. Steve on vocals, Django on the guitar, Angus on the drums, Milush on the bass as well. Thank you so much. We got one more song. Tell us about it.
This song is the title track of the new album, and it's called It Das Belange. It does Belange.
Wearing leather shoes with no socks.
It does Belange.
A tailored suit and cheap Crocs.
It does Belange.
My boss cruising in a hatchback.
It does Belange.
Your conservative grandpa wearing a snapback.
It does Belange. Oh, yeah.
Followed a fabulous breakfast with a Twinkie.
It does Belange.
Morris dancing considered kinky.
It does Belange. Oh, yeah.
Trump wears a rug as a rumor.
It does Belange.
Oh, that orange motherfucker even has a sense of humor.
It does Belange.
Yes.